I just came across a community post by Rationality Rules. The post shows an exchange between himself and Stefan Molyneux. RR is trying to correct a misunderstanding of Stefan's. Stefan believes that the act of correction demonstrates that one has a universal preference for truth over falsity. No, I'm not joking. We can formalize Stefan's point as an implication, P implies Q. If X corrects Y, then X has a universal preference for truth over falsity. We'll call this correction situation situation A. There are two very straightforward objections to Stefan's claim. They are, in fact, so straightforward that I'm astounded Stefan hasn't heard them or thought of them himself and abandoned the whole idea. Firstly, X could have a preference for falsity over truth in situation A. There's no reason to believe this is logically impossible. And even though I don't need to give a counterexample since Stefan hasn't shown logical impossibility, I'll give an easy one. Maybe X has a preference for falsity, but thinks that Y is so stubborn that a correction is likely to push him further into his false beliefs. Secondly, even if we stipulate that X does have a preference for truth over falsity in situation A, it doesn't follow that the preference is universal. There's no reason to believe this is logically impossible. Again, I don't need to give a counterexample since Stefan hasn't shown logical impossibility, but I'll give an easy one anyway. Maybe X is a chemist in a bad marriage. He'd prefer to have true beliefs about questions like what is the atomic mass of helium, and comforting false beliefs about questions like where was my wife last Friday night. Unless Stefan can show that it's logically impossible, 1, for X to prefer falsity over truth in situation A, and 2, for X to prefer truth over falsity in situation A, but falsity over truth in other situations, it's not clear why we would believe that if X corrects Y, then X has a universal preference for truth over falsity. Unless maybe we have a preference for believing falsehoods when it comes to questions of UPB.